Welcome and good evening to the Poets Cafe. It is where artists comes alive. Spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasure, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that rings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expressions, and painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature and sing in harmony while praying for the love of the skies and dancing with the stars, like a feminine ballerina gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
Let's get started. Now, I'm really excited this evening because we have some surprises, something a little different this evening, and it's something very exciting. You know, again, we say that this is the Poets Cafe, and this evening we have a poet that's going to join us in the cafe. So how you doing, my brother?
All right, can't complain.
You can't complain?
You know, hey, it's a blessing. It's always a blessing here.
Hey, it is. It really is, you know. So what you got for us today?
I like to read a little something.
Okay.
You know, I think this is, it's always a little something, you know. This is interesting for those who, especially driving at night, it's something to think about. So let me read this.
Yes.
The title of this is Nighttime Drive. Calibrating feelings from an untangled state of mind. A manifesto moment to surrender to the blues, an equal opportunity to be seduced into a climatic state, where conversation meet the stars at night, raised up, laying back to touch the moon as it peruse the joy of your soul. Remember the feeling of an aesthetic romance mystery, tiptoeing across softly, moving in a aesthetic a cosmetic form without being noticed or heard. A nighttime drive, the mental state off the grid while singing lyrics to songs unknown. And the only place to find such artists is a nighttime drive, under the moon and galaxy stars. So, will you seduce me into a state of a mystical unknown where my memories are lost but found in a storage vault? Only you have the combination if you remember the number, or did you forget how to search for it? Whisper in my earlobe. When you find it, feel me. Scream internally, softly as the body swells, moving uncontrollably. Now, drive me home. Calm down these waves romantically.
And a nighttime drive, man. I feel like I was cruising while you were reading that poem. It's like, you know, it's like I'm cruising, man. You know? So where did that come from? Where did you that idea?
You know, the idea came to me because I often, for myself, and a lot of pieces I write is centered around standing outside, driving, walking, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And you look at, number one, the environment is night, and you see the stars lit up.
Yes.
And so you think and it kind of takes you back when you just want to take a drive, especially during the summer or the spring or fall.
Of course.
Hey, baby, let's take a ride.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and how often does one sit back and think about a nighttime drive, what it does? And poetry comes in that environment.
It
Even
does.
though poetry comes in all forms and fashions that you don't know what time or where,
Yes, right.
but it hit. And that's when it hit me. A nighttime drive.
Sounds good. Sounds real good. And I would imagine that when you're in your drive and whatnot, you're letting your minds just sort of flow and go along with what's going on. And I'm sure that's like it's really like almost like a meditation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It allows you to sit back, relax, to unwind, to think about without thinking about the chaos or the mess, but to take you away from the distractions of your everyday or during the course of that day or whatever took place at that moment, but to render your soul back into a place of serenity. And that's what's important.
Oh, no doubt about it. And that's why I think, again, we encourage our audience, to get into the experience of poetry. You have 2 poetry books, but also you have a journal where people can actually write down their thoughts. And I would suggest those who really are inclined to just want to take some time to meditate, just some time to think. And I know for myself that that's when the best poetry comes, because the mind is open for whatever is out there. Now, you also have some other poetry that you want to share with us as well, right?
Yes. This is from a good author I know personally, and she writes a book. And I like to read one of her pieces. And this is interesting, too. Finding my authenticity. I am satisfied with being me, and it is peculiarly inviting, even igniting others to look and see that I am wholeheartedly free. A revelation that makes one inquire, how in the world did she get her heart's desire? And I tell them like this, with tears dry and eyes wide open, having learned to watch and pray, I became ready to expose who I am. Strength, weaknesses, without fear of rejection. And I say, so let the skin that I love to be in be brown and fine and divinely mine. Let my maple hips match the sweetness of my speaking lips. Let me be pleased with my double D's at 5'3". Let the t-shirt and socks I rock be a sign of comfortability and not a question of my femininity. And whether I am pern or nappy, one need not debate whether I am whole or happy. So let me be smart and funny. Let me make my own money in my own way, be it work or play. And by all means, let me contend for today without a significant other. Let me be at peace with already being a mother. For though my wedding gown may not be white, I can look back and know I've won that fight. And with him as my defense, I am living eternally true to my essence.
I love it. I love it. And one thing I like about that particular poem is it really gets to the point where you have to validate yourself, because so many of us are waiting for other people to validate them.
Right.
And again, obviously that's from a woman's voice. And who's the author? And
yes, the author is Dr. Terry Cerise Davis. Poetic Doodles, from the front line of womanhood.
And I like that poem because, again, she says, hey, whether I'm nappy, I'm still happy. And again, I think a lot of times, it's hard for us to find our way in this world because we're always trying to compare ourselves to other people. We don't measure up to other people. We think there's something wrong with us. Maybe we're sort of out of touch, and again, you want to be accepted, especially in your early years of your life, because you're trying to find out who you are. You're trying to find out how you fit in, and you really have to know who you are, and that way you can be comfortable with yourself. And so I really appreciate that poem.
And that's so important, just in short, because you're right. And that's what this platform is about. That's what poetry is all about, and different artists is identifying who you are. We said this even in the beginning.
Right. Yes.
Identify who you are. Who are you? Because I can't know who you are if you don't know who you are. You know, otherwise you become somebody, and I'm saying, well, somebody said.
That's right. Yeah. And it gets uncomfortable when you're trying to be like everybody else. It's so funny because when you're a kid, you want to be like everybody else.
Right.
If everybody's wearing these sneakers, you want to get those sneakers.
Right.
You know? If everybody's wearing these jeans, you want to get these jeans. It's only when you get older and you develop your own style.
Right.
And then you can really live a better life. But the thing is that, you know, again, I thank you for tuning in, and I thank you for joining us. This is like our 5th episode, and we're going to bring some very special things to you in February, which is Black History Month. But today is a very special day for us because we have our first in-studio guest, and we've been threatening to bring in other people, other poets, and we're going to do that tonight. And this young man that we're going to bring on is someone that I will say that my brother here discovered, and he's discovered him in a very special place. And so I'm going to ask you to bring on our guest.
It is truly a pleasure. And in short, I met this young man, it's been a while now, and found the pleasantness of his outward appearance, his smile, his charisma, and that's what's so important. So, but rather than get into all of that, I'd like to identify in short who this gentleman is. His name is, he goes by the name of L.J. the Angel, a.k.a. Lawrence Luke. And that's what's important. But I'm going to let him give his background of who he is, and that's what's important, so you'll have a better sense of who he is. I just want to introduce the young brother because I think he's a blessing, and he's the future.
Yes, he is. He's the future. Right there. That's our future. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Thank you.
How
Thank
you
you
doing?
guys so much. Thank you guys for having me. This is an amazing program that you guys have got going on. Those poems were amazing, Brother McCrae. So my name, as you said, is Lawrence Luke, but I do go by the name LJ the Angel. I'm a Christian rapper from Roselle, New Jersey. I've been rapping for 6 or 7 years. I just started making Christian music in 2024. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that. But yeah, I've been continuing my journey. When I was rapping before in the world, my name was LJ the Alien, and that name comes from a lot of times I felt like I didn't fit in, or I was like, alien in certain situations. And it also came from just a feeling of being different from others. And when I started making Christian music, I thought, going from an alien to an angel was a pretty good, transition. It was a pretty easy transition. And then also when I was in college, I read a poem called Angels with Wings. Mm-hmm. And the poem was more critical of angels, like angels are just aliens with wings, like, they're not, some ethereal beings. They're not like, celestial. Whereas my interpretation of it is the opposite. It's more of angels are greater than aliens. So that transition from being an alien or considering myself an alien to considering myself now an angel is like a way of growth or a way of transitioning to this new way of life. So
now, do you remember what made you start writing poetry from the beginning?
Yeah, so the first poem I ever wrote was in 3rd grade. It was part of like a school thing. And they actually sent our poems to be published inside of a poetry book. So by 3rd grade, I was, a published poet. But yeah, for a while I didn't write. In 7th grade, I picked it up again because of a girl, but
yeah, well, that's another story,
right? Yeah, that's a different story for a different time. But, when I truly started to take it seriously was my sophomore year of college. I knew that I wanted to make music, and I didn't know exactly where to start. I, wanted to be around like-minded individuals, people who also wrote. So that year, I joined the poetry club at Kane University, and there were so many amazing writers, and they helped me grow so much. So, I just wrote poems as in addition to writing raps and writing music. So that like influenced my style and my growth so much. So, yeah, that's how I got started.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Now, is there a difference between poetry and rap? Is it different or is it the same? How do you?
Yeah, the way I see it is when I write poetry, it's more of like I'm not really trying to get other people to understand it. Like it's more of free expression, like how I see the world personally, and it's not necessarily something that everyone might relate to. Whereas when I make music, I want people to relate to it. I want people to hear themselves inside of the music. So,
Beautiful.
like themes that resonate with people, themes that resonate with me and my journey and, what I've gone through and maybe, drawing other people who've had that experience to me. So, yeah, that's the difference I see between.
Well, that's a beautiful distinction because, again, I think with a lot of people, especially young people, it's good to be in a group of people who are doing the same things you're doing. Because I don't know if Ron had experience, but when I was 9 years old and starting to write and really taking it seriously, I didn't have anybody to share with. Matter of fact, I was a little ashamed because I'm doing something that nobody else is doing, and I sort of felt like an outcast. Did you feel that way when you started writing? Or?
It was interesting. That little thought always been in my mind, but it was always centered around all these books. Everybody's writing a story. Everybody writing something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until when I was in school and I had to write, an essay, and while I was writing the essay, I thought I was finished. But to me, the Spirit kept pushing me, and I went on until it actually became my firstborn child. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, of course.
And matter of fact, I even sent around, I have a CD with that on it.
Okay.
It's called Serenity.
Yeah.
But so even with that, in short, I was trying to figure out how do you write a book? And I asked several different people, how do you write a book? And wasn't getting no direction.
Right.
So as I went home, the Spirit continued to move in me. So when I hear something and listen to something, then I would start building on that, whatever that may have been, conversation or something. And then also even the piece that I written, Nighttime Drive,
Yes.
I look around. And as it was just expressed by a guest, life, your surroundings. And that's what was important. So that's what inspired me up until now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And again, I think what happens with a lot of people is that sometimes when you're involved in something like this, you look for validation, but sometimes we go into the wrong people.
Yeah.
We don't go to somebody who has written a poem, because that's like somebody, you're trying to get to Philadelphia, and you ask somebody who's never been to Philadelphia. I mean, that don't make any sense to me.
That's right.
But you ask people, and then you present something to them, and because they don't know what is about, they can't give you the proper feedback, and that's why I really encourage, what you were doing. You came with a group of people who were doing the same thing, and they were able to inspire you to go a little further, because I don't really think you can really be good at something unless you really love it. And especially as we know as writers, I mean, writing is difficult because, I don't know about you, maybe you're a lot more talented than I am, but I don't get it the first time. The first time is the draft, okay? It's a draft. I don't care how proud I am to have done it, it's a draft.
Right.
And then one last thing that I want to say before we go into another part of the program, and you can really relate to this as well as you, my brother, I think with us, and I just met this young man this evening, but I feel the energy from him, and I feel a commitment. And I tell everybody, and this is for those of you who are out there, I ask every writer, are you interested or are you committed? And there's a difference, okay? Interested. Oh, I can write a poem one day, or I can write a book one day. I don't know when one day is. I know Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Thursday, but I don't know one day.
Right.
And then I tell them, look, this is, I'm committed to writing. Okay, it's not an interest, it's not a hobby, it's a commitment. And this is where you prove your commitment. My brother, you ever be and you at your laptop and whatnot, and you're smoking, Oh, you're smoking, man. Everything's coming on, man. It's beautiful. I'm so brilliant. I'm so smart. I don't know where I got this talent. Thank you, God.
Right.
I am the ultimate poet, and I'm kicking it. I'm kicking it now. And I was messing around, and I touched something on my computer, and everything that I wrote disappeared. And then I asked my students, "What do you think I did?" Right. Well, after I finished crying, because I was smoking. I was smoking because I got about maybe 100, because I'm writing a novel now, 150 pages, you know,
Right.
and it was just flowing, and now it's gone. Now, if I was interested, I would just say, you know, poor is me, woe was me. But because I'm committed on what I did, I just start typing it again, and I say that's the first draft. This is a better draft. And that's how I covered myself. But that's the difference between being interested and being committed. And I know that you're committed, and I expect big things from you.
Thank you.
You know, and again, this evening, we're going to give you a chance to really stretch out and let the people know what you're doing.
And the young brother said something which is so true. He said, I didn't do it for others.
Yes.
See, that's the key.
That's the key.
And as you just shared, you see, I'm on the road too. I have more piles of notes in here and there. You know, I'm going back.
It's messy.
And then sometime when I go back and read my own stuff, I'm like, did I write that?
Who wrote this? The alien come in?
You know? So that's the joy, of finding
That's the
who
joy.
you are.
Right.
Just like in the piece by Dr. Davis,
Yeah.
you know, I am.
That's right.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
Finding me.
That's right.
Now, how do you find you is the question.
That's a beautiful thing, and sometimes, you know, again, you know, we are blessed because we have access to books, we have access to libraries. You know, again, when I started my college career, you know, I was just so excited because I had access to more books.
Right.
You know, and this was, for me, was just such an exciting thing. And you know, again, when you get into the books, you find other poets that have written long before we were even here.
Right.
You know, and before we go on to the poetry and concert part of the program, I want to share 2 poems, and these 2 poems mean a lot to me because this is the section of the program where we actually share other poets, and I call this is like the mind, body, and books section. And so what I want to do here, I want to read 2 poems, and one poem is from 1922, and the other poem is from 2023. And they share the same title. Both these poems are entitled Mother to Son. And the first poem is from a gentleman that we have there on our board there. Mm-hmm. It's from Langston Hughes. And this is a Langston Hughes poem, which I really like, and is really something that sort of inspired me. And so this is Langston Hughes. This is 1922, Mother to Son. And it reads, well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I's been a-climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps 'cause you find this kind of hard. Don't you fall down, for I still going, honey. I still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. And so that's Langston Hughes, 1922. Okay? Can you relate?
Oh.
You know, is it ever been hard to you? Ever had your mother sit you down and talk to you? Mother to son?
Well, let me put it this way. I listened to my mother.
You listen.
And while she was telling all kinds of stories, but in the same manner, I was learning by listening, and that's what's important. Yes, many have those sit down and read a story, but what about the ones who actually was experienced what they thought might have been trauma to them? But it's still a story being told.
That's right.
And you have to look at it from their perspective.
You have to.
How that story was being told. Was Was it to abuse me or to strengthen me?
That's right.
And that's what's important. So everything of the punishment that you thought you was getting wasn't about trying to kill you, but it was really educating you.
Yeah.
And listening from their perspective of their story.
And the beautiful thing about it is it's like a narrative, because it's obvious there's a mother talking to her son.
Right.
And again, as you get into your poetry, you'll find a lot of times you'll be writing poems from maybe a female perspective or a male perspective. It's still you writing the poem, but it's from a different perspective. And like again, this poem, Mother to Son. Now in 2023, a young lady named Anika Davis wrote a book entitled Meditations of a Mother's Heart, encouraging poems for moms of all ages. And this particular book of poetry won the top prize at the Independent Writers Conference that Ron and I attended. Right. You know, she won that prize. And I got a chance to actually speak to her and buy her book. And so again, this is Langston Hughes, 1922, and this is Anika Davis, Mother to Son, 2023. And it reads, I never knew I could love someone so much until the first time I saw you and felt your gentle touch. I can still remember the first time you looked at me, though for a brief second my heart skipped a beat. Your eyes would sparkle like a star, shining ever so bright. Every chance I was given, I would continually hold you tight. There were times when I would just sit and watch you sleep. Hours would pass, and you were so peaceful, not a sound or peep. Whenever you would smile at me, tears slowly filled my eyes. The joy I felt deep within was so great to my surprise. I can't believe I finally found it, the gift of true love, the kind of love only predestined from the Lord above. A love specifically formatted for each and every one, the sacred bond shared between a mother and her son. And so again, mother to son, mother to son. And again, now we got to write a poem called Father to Son.
You know, and
be only fair.
And along that line, because we're also going to have a session for mothers.
Yes, yes.
And just in short,
Yeah.
because in Proverbs 30, it's a mother who's talking to her son.
Yes, yes.
You know, she's telling her son who can find a virtuous woman.
Mm-hmm.
So she's teaching her son how to be a man and what to look for in a good woman.
Yes, yes.
So, but I'm going to stop there because we got something coming up for you.
That's right. We got something special coming up for you. Again, this young man, you know, we met him a little while ago, but for the next whatever, he's going to be in concert. So we call this section of our program Poetry and Concert, and this is LJ the Angel.
Yeah, so to start off, I want to preface this by saying I released an Christian rap EP a little bit late last year, like around September, November. And the title track, or not the title track, the first track of it is called Chosen. And it's basically just chronicling the beginning of my journey with God and like how I moved from, you know, being in the world to feeling like I was chosen to be, you know, or called to be in the church. So
Yes.
This is that. I got God on my side. Not afraid to be me, wear my heart on my sleeve, I got nothing to hide. I was running my race and I'm keeping my pace, think I'm hitting my stride. In the furnace, not feeling the fire. I got purpose for being alive. Take my words and I give them to God. Could be worse, but I'm grateful it's not. I've been changing the way that I'm living. Yeah, I sin, but I pray I'm forgiven. Talk to him before I make a decision. Heard the Bible got infinite wisdom, so I'm reading to see if I get it. I believe it cause he got division. Multiply, we ain't talking division. Don't be tempted by fruit that's forbidden. Now I'm Christian, they say that I'm different. I'm the same, but I'm standing on business. I forgive, but I never forget it. Going further, I'm testing my limits. While I'm hurting, I'm still gonna praise. While I'm working for minimum wage. All these words I put down on a page. With the rock I'm rolling. What he's giving cannot be stolen. Living with a heart that's golden. How I got my spot, I'm chosen. With the rock I'm rolling. What he's giving cannot be stolen. Living with a heart that's golden. How I got my spot, I'm chosen. but you gotta stay humble. Cause you're not the reason you got all you got. It's from God that's above you. And it's all cause he love you. He see what you deserve and give double. Don't get comfortable sitting in rubble. Just keep putting together that puzzle. All the pieces gon' fit if they meant to. Could've chose anyone, but he sent you. Might not happen right now, but eventual. He is bigger than what is against you. He could heal all your wounds like a sensu and erase all your sins like a pencil. You can't do everything that your friends do. He said, see, I am doing a new thing. Only down on your knees for a shoestring. But you better bow down for the true king. Hold me up like Jordan in the flu game. Reborn, he gave me a new name. If he called me, I'm bolting like Usain. Only Jesus could free us from true pain. Ain't no traffic, this a new lane. Holy Spirit gave me new flame. This the part that I want to hear you sing. I'm a child of God. I believe in him. My relationship with the Most High is deepening. I'm a child of God. I believe in him. My relationship with the Most High is deepening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
That is powerful.
Thank you.
Listen to the message
That's right.
from start, the flow of it.
beautiful.
I mean, I felt it.
Thank
Matter of
you.
fact, I thought I could do it.
I can't do it, man.
That was truly fantastic.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah, that was the first Christian rap song that I wrote, and it was to an instrumental, oddly enough, that I had made years ago. So I had that instrumental. I completely forgot I had it, and then one day I was like going through my phone, looking at different files that I had. I was like, I could use this. Like this God gave me this for this specific purpose. Like he gave it to me years ago before I even had an idea of, wanting to make gospel music. And I was like, what, let me use this. So that was the first one. And this next one is like the next part of my journey. It's called Fear. Because after God calls you, there's always that feeling of uncertainty of, should I be doing this? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, I'm scared to like move forward. But the whole premise of fear is to not be, I don't know, like discouraged by that fear. So this is how it goes. Make or miss. Can't be too scared to take a risk. Speak the truth where it's dangerous. Remember days when I would pray for this. The game is rigged, but I play to win. Rather love my enemy than hate my friend. Leave my flesh before I stay in sin. Won't go back to old ways again. Pray for me while I make amends. Better now than I've ever been. Working hard to keep Satan out, but learning how to keep the angel in. Thinking about what I could say to him. When the day begin, heaven's gates I want to make it in. Exhale when I'm feeling doubt, then inhale for my second wind. Makes sense, I'm in my element, taking steps to be a better man. It's me I'm trying to be better than, not the same place you met him in. It's always something new like a rookie, but I'm used to it like a veteran. I do this all in remembrance, but I can't let fear get in the way. Lived all my years in 7 days, wish I was here when I'm away, cause I'm afraid. But it seemed more safe to stay in place, cause I'm in his hands like potter's clay. And this one chance I gotta take, I gotta say. It's cool when you're living on this side, but it's rules that you really gotta live by. Moves that you gotta think twice about. Might lose if you don't run it by the big guy. If you really knew who you was on the boat with, you would never have to worry about the riptide. Don't snooze, don't trip, don't get tired. Just use your grip, don't slip slide. And walk with the light. We know weeping endures for the night. I show you brotherly love. If you follow our Father in Christ, he came down and he gave up his life. You could sin but consider the price, hailing from above like falling ice. Here's a real useful piece of advice, that you can't let fear get in the way. Lived all my years in 7 days. Wish I was here when I'm away, cause I'm afraid. And it seemed more safe to stay in place, but I'm in his hand like potter's clay. And this one chance I gotta take, I gotta say. Don't get discouraged, it ain't how you may want it. The clouds darken and the skies parted cause the rain's coming. Scars healing and the pain numbing. It's hard feeling like you made something when the large opinion that it ain't nothing. But it's God's vision that's the main one, and you can start hating cause the fame coming. Heart racing but I ain't running. Wow. I've been concentrating on the play numbers when I should be praying that I save brothers. Be not afraid and don't take cover. On the way to somewhere made for us. Every day I see a great wonder, but I hide away and try to stay under. But I can't let fear get in the way. Lived all my years in 7 days. Wish I was here when I'm away, cause I'm afraid. and it seems more safe to stay in place. But I'm in his hand like potter's clay. And this one chance I gotta take, I gotta say, thank you.
Thank you. And that was just amazing. You know. And again, like I said, you got your flow, you got your cadence, and I could even, like I said, although there's no music playing,
Right.
I can feel, I can hear the music as if it was there.
Absolutely.
You know. Now, when you write, what comes first, the cadence or the words or the subject or what?
Sometimes it depends. I kind of have like a backwards way of writing. Like I'll start with like the last word of the line, but only in music making. When I write poetry, I write it like straight through. But when I'm writing music, I start with the last word of the line, and then I kind of work backwards to see how I can make it make sense or how I can make it fit. And a lot of times it's just like God puts words inside of my head where it's like, all right, I didn't know that was gonna go there, but
I was thinking that.
yeah, like
Where did that come from?
Exactly. A lot of times I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, that's how I write. Like sometimes going backwards, sometimes it just comes like super quick, super naturally, where it just flows. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes weeks, other times it takes like you said, like hours. Like so.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know about you, but my most creative time is between like 5 and 9. You know, because I can lay in the bed and just have things flowing. That's why I have a pad and a pen next to my bedside. Because I mean, if I don't write that down, then it will be lost. Yeah. And that's why. But that time before wakefulness, full wakefulness. And you know, it's in the beginning of the day, so there's nothing on my mind but that, and it's just so pure at that particular time. Yeah. You know, how about you? What is your creative process?
Mine is at any time.
He's the anytime guy.
I could be in the middle of the night doing it. I could be in the car because when something hits me,
he's blessed. He's blessed. God has put His hand on him.
Definitely.
You know, and the whole thing is because I write a little note, even if it's just one word or something. So this way, when you come back, you can build on it, as the young brother just expressed. You know, when something hit you. See, God doesn't have a time. The angel and the Holy Spirit doesn't have a certain time. It moves. When it moves and it touches you, you have to be able to act right then and there. There's no such thing, I'll wait till it come back. No.
Right. It ain't coming back.
I'm not going to go already.
You got to grab it.
You got to grab it. And that's what's important. Don't hesitate to hold on to that dream, that desire, that something that's building up inside. And that's what's important. Take that seed, get it out of you, cultivate it. Nobody said it's going to be perfect. As the young brother, and as we tell you, you know, you go back and forth. But the point is, a garden doesn't sprout overnight. You have to cultivate it.
That's true. That's true. You got some more for us?
Yes.
Please.
Absolutely.
We're on a roll now.
I'm excited.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
So this next one is called Welcome Home. And the inspiration for it was me and my dad were talking, and, you know, this was after I had done a few performances at the church, and, you know, it was starting to be something that, you know, I embraced.
Yes.
And he said, you know, he was very proud of me for coming back to the church, and he said that he kept thinking about the verse, train up a child in the way they should go.
Yes.
Remember that. And when they grow, they won't depart from it.
That's right.
So he told me, you know, I would love if you made a song about that, or you made like something to like encapsulate that feeling.
Yes.
And so I did that, and it's sort of like a call back to church to, you know, youth who have, you know, were brought up in the church but necessarily didn't feel like they should stay, or were only doing it for their parents.
Yes.
And this is a call for them to come back and, you know, actually do it for themselves and, you know, be back in the church. So,
okay.
Train up a child in the way they should go. When they grow, they will not depart. They'll stay afloat like Noah's Ark. Just welcome them home with open arms. When one day ends, a new day dawns. If it wasn't for the prayers, you wouldn't be so strong. The one who really cares wants to cheer you on. The one who understands wouldn't steer you wrong. And chemistry, we got to build these bonds. Energy we gonna need for the long run. Tell me who you wanna see when it's all done. Trust me, you gon' wanna leave when the Lord come. Cause everything that they worship on earth is all gonna return to the dirt. Everything dispersed. You can't even see what it's worth. What you thought was a gift is a curse. Seek God first. You put too much faith in the purse. You can't make it home with your works. Remember who you are, no need to research. Please come back to the church. Cause if you train up a child in the way they should go, when they grow they will not depart. They'll stay afloat like Noah's Ark. Just welcome them home with open arms. Yeah. Each go. The chorus goes twice, so I'm trying to see what comes after.
Yeah, singing inside your head, right?
You know, they'll not depart. Stay afloat like Noah's Ark. Just welcome them home with open arms. Lost ones sowing seeds in the sand. Sometimes all you need is a chance. It can get hard to believe in the plans, but God sees what you will achieve in advance. We all want something we could feel with our hands, but He wants us all to feel with our hearts. Please don't sacrifice the whole for a part. Shine bright, let your light glow in the dark. Dynamite only can explode with a spark. Superman still got his powers when he's Clark. Don't let the finish line tell you how to start. If you want a masterpiece, then you gotta make your mark. That's art. I know you want love and it hurts, cause everything you tried only made the pain worse. But water from the world can't quench your thirst. Just please come back to the church. Cause if you train up a child in the way they should go, when they grow they will not depart. They'll stay afloat like Noah's Ark. Just welcome them home with open arms. And that's welcome home.
All right, welcome home.
It's interesting.
I love it, love it.
That was part of the conversation we was having
Yeah,
earlier.
right,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
earlier.
yes, yes.
And that comes from Proverbs 22 and 17, you know, which is interesting, you know. And here, for you to be able to recite that, because that's part of you, part of what the family led you to come back to, and we had the conversation previous,
It's almost like
is
full
confirmation,
circle, you know?
and
Yeah.
that's how you know the connections in the relationship, and that's what's important.
Yeah, it is very important. And I was earlier speaking to my brother here, and I was just saying to him, like, you know, sometimes it's good to have mentors, people that are doing what you're doing. I know for myself, I had my mentors first were by people that I found in books, you know, people that I read, you know, Langston Hughes and Mary Baraka and those kind of people. And then as I went through my college career, I met other people who were writing, you know, and when I first started college, I never thought I'd be a college professor, but then as I went through my journey, I met other college professors, and that makes a difference. That makes a difference. When you see somebody who's doing what you do, it's easier for you to do it. Who were some of your influences when you were coming, you know, getting into your rap and your poetry? Any artists, any particular people?
Rap in general, there's another story. When I was first starting out writing, I, like I said, didn't know where to start. So a lot of what I did was research on music and, you know, studying different artists. So to start out with my studying, I went through a lot of R&B, like 90s R&B artists' favorite, like first album. So Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys. She's kind of 2000s, but
I understand.
Jill Scott. Like, I went through a lot of those albums. I went through a lot of like really big rappers' first albums, like Kanye, Jay-Z. What was it? Digital Planets. Like Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, like newer artists as well. So I went through a lot of like catalogs just to see like different artists and take different pieces. So a lot of my early stuff is reminiscent of that 90s R&B. And then as I moved forward, like transitioning to, you know, more contemporary styles and incorporating those in there. So
that's beautiful, and it's so funny that you mentioned like the 90s. I was sharing with you, I said I do a daily music blog called Soul Music Prescription, album by album, song by song, where I write an essay on the different singles from that particular album, and I put a picture with it and that kind of stuff. And I try to post at least 3 articles per day. But the thing is that music, especially from the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, I was telling my brother here, you know, before there was self-help podcasts, that was our self-help. You know, listen to that music, We're a Winner, you know, the different, Keep Your Head to the Sky, Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, different people. And it's so funny that when I asked you what your influences were, you start mentioning women. And it's just so funny because when I was growing up, I was ashamed to say that I wrote poetry because I think I was soft. You know, but the point I'm making, and I always say this, I say to be a real true man, you have to touch your feminine side and your masculine side.
Right.
Now we have some people who are actually watching this program now. Norman E. Bradley, who is the owner of the studio, or engineer, Tarika Gilbert, Karen Elaine Davis, and Daniel Bigler said, tonight needs really a prayer for my son who was him. Go very bad. The grandmother has cancer. So I guess he's saying that, you know, again, he appreciates where you're coming from in your poetry because it is spiritual, but it is secular in the sense that it can really help people who may not be so spiritual. So again, we have you here, so we want you to continue.
Okay, perfect. So this is another piece from an earlier not earlier project, but it's called Potential, and it's basically a prayer from me to God, asking if what I'm doing now is what I'm supposed to be doing, and like looking for confirmation that this is what He has planned for me. So yeah, I wrote this, and it was at a really, like, at the very beginning of my like transition to making gospel music. So let me see how it starts. Lord, please tell me, do I have potential to give you the glory by writing rhymes, telling stories? Is this the life you want for me? Round the world when I'm touring, on a stage and performing. Tell me this is what's important, because I really need reassurance. If this ain't it, make it dormant. But I'm hoping you won't. This is the only life I really want. Feel like I need to bring you to the front. Love when the crowd get excited and jump. But now it's for you. Done with the lies, I'm following the truth. I'm using my testimony as proof. I'm giving praises that go through the roof. And you do what you do. I was despicable until I grew. You showed me everything I never knew. You put me together and you made me new. I won't go back to the old. There's something I have to know. And so, Lord, please tell me, do I have potential? 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 That is my question. Is there a return on investment, or am I just wasting my blessings? Worry is making me desperate. I still have faith in the plans, not down here making demands. You have my fate in your hands. I just want to know where I was, where I'm at, where I'm gonna go. Tick-tocking like a bomb when I'm gonna blow. Never the same as before. I say as well with my soul. And so, Lord, please tell me, do I have potential? Thank you.
Thank you. Brother's hot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you know what's interesting, and it's so inspiring.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You know, it's really telling the sincere of the story. And as a young brother expressed, how God is moving. And that's what's important for everyone, to know and feel. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to actually see and hear God or the Holy Spirit, but you can feel it inside of you when something is moving. And he said something earlier that he didn't know what this and that, and trying to write here and there.
Yeah.
But here, just what he just demonstrated this evening shows you God is not about confusion. He will unfold the words and put it in the right place at the right time for you to allow it to flow. And that's what's important.
It's very important. And the thing is, I like what you said about your journey. Also, you mentioned your father.
Right.
You know, you wrote a poem for your father. And my question to you is, how do your parents feel about the music that you're doing now?
Oh, yeah, they're ecstatic about it.
I love that word, ecstatic.
Yeah, like seeing where I was before, and like the music I was making before, and how I've grown in God, and like him actually embracing this walk of life. It's amazing for them. Like they're so happy that I'm doing it. They're able to support it more, which for me is a plus because, before I would go to shows and I couldn't really invite my parents because, the things I was talking about were not like,
got the slang with you.
Exactly. So, I felt kind of bad not being able to have them there to support me. But now that I make Christian music, I can invite them places. I can share with them my music. I can, bounce songs off of them to get feedback. So, they love the music that I'm making now, and it's only more fuel and more like motivation to continue going and to keep making this style of music and to keep giving glory to God with what I say.
It's a beautiful thing, and before we came on air, I was talking to my brother here, and I was saying, I said, do you have a book? I said, you should have a book. I want you to think about putting your poetry together in a book. I know you do the music and the EPs and that kind of stuff, but people still like to have a book. And my brother can probably give you some direction in that, and I as well, because again, we're so excited to have you on the program because it's about the youth. Again, we're a men of a certain age, and we're going to be here for a little while longer. But the point is that I want to make sure that I leave what we do in the hands of a brother like yourself and my son. He's a little older than you are. But again, I do believe, as the song says, the children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way and show all the beauty they possess inside. And these are things that, again, the song said the greatest love of all. Well, the greatest love of all is to love yourself. And you demonstrated that, because you love yourself, because you found yourself, you're able to really be alive in your poetry and be alive in your testimony, because what you did tonight was a testimony. And I tell you, brother, some people, when they see this program, are going to love you, but there's some people going to hate you. You know why they're going to hate you? Because we're going to have other poets come on, and you have... Man, you put the bar very high. Okay, now you put the bar very high. And so I'm telling you, other poets that we want you to come on, but this is what we want to see.
Thank you.
We want to see this. This is a section of the program we call Poetry in Concert. And this brother, I tell you, he gave us a concert, and I'm going to ask for an encore. But you got something to say?
No, actually, what you said, you really said it all. And that's, and let me say this.
Please.
This is the present. You had the past, the present, and the future. In this present, we are the history to this young brother. Yeah. He is the future in the present for the next generation, others coming behind him. As we open up the door, as we said in the beginning when we first started this platform, the door of opportunity for all. Yes. Okay, regardless of the level, but we are here to work together to help one another. So again, as this young brother inspired us today, where he is at, based on his parents, because the word says to be in the world and not of it.
That's right. That's right.
See, it's not so much, and let me be clear, it's not so much of the lyrics, it's how the lyrics inform you and draw you into the world, to become part of the world. And that's why, to be clear, in the world. So when you're in the world, you can see who you are, where you at, how you walking, who you hanging out with, what are you doing wrong, and how do we inspire somebody else? Because inspiring somebody, you can inspire somebody to do something wrong.
That's right. That's right.
But you can inspire somebody to raise up. And what we are here is to help raise up. So as his brother said, and as we're talking about, we're here to work with. Right. We're not saying we have all the answers, but we're here to work collectively. And the last thing, as you indicated, a book, whatever pieces you have, we can work together, put all those pieces together, and get your book out there. Because we all start at some place, even if it's a few pages or whatever. But you can say, just like you on this show now, and everybody gonna see you.
Everybody.
You might have some critics, but you can say, you know what? I got my book.
I got my book. Now, with that said, let's have an encore. Let's have one more poem from you. Can you do that?
Yeah, but before, I want to touch on something Brother McCrae said. The funny thing is, In the World, Not of It is the title of the project that I have, the last song that I performed, Potential.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the name of like the actual project, and then there's a song called "In the World Not of It," which I was planning on doing next. So
Hey,
yeah,
I
which
tell you, man,
that's incredible.
God
Right.
is working. You know, I believe in miracles. You know?
Definitely.
So this is LJ the Angel, and this is Encore.
Thank. Yeah. How to? Oh. I'm closing the distance. When I'm speaking, I know that he listens. That's why I make praise and I lift it. When I give it, it come back with interest. For instance, I'm a witness to forgiveness and all of its benefits, like wisdom and health and intelligence, wealth and favor and inheritance, all heaven sent. And I don't deserve it, because I'm a sinner. I know I ain't perfect. I've been winning. I know I ain't earned it. When Jesus died, he took all the burden, and that's for certain. Messiah, Savior, Christ, the Son of David. All the names with Jesus is my favorite. Power in it. You cannot contain it. You cannot restrain it. You cannot refrain it. Look, I'm in the world, but not of it. Yeah, I like it on earth. I don't love it. But I know that there's better that's coming above it. Hey, I'm in the world, but not of it. Yeah, I like it on earth. I don't love it. Because I know that there's better that's coming above it. Rising, before I gave my life, I was hiding, trying to sell my whole soul for a diamond. God got me with impeccable timing, from surviving to thriving. Now everyone knows I'm arriving. Now that y'all see the glow and I'm shining, I'm just letting you know about what God did, because God did. God did. I'm just letting you know about what God did, because God did. God did. I'm just letting you know about what God did, because God did. God did. I'm just letting you know about what God did, because God did. God did. I'm just letting you know about what God did, because God did. I'm in the world, but not of it. Yeah, I like it on earth. I don't love it, because I know that there's better that's coming above it. I'm in the world, but not of it. Yeah, I like it on earth. I don't love it, because I know that there's better that's coming above it. Thank you.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, that was outstanding.
Thank you.
That was outstanding.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we go through this program and we say hour, it seems like a long time, but it doesn't. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to close this out.
You know, just in short, and hopefully I could do it in less than 2 minutes, but I'm making my business. But I just want to go back to say this one piece, is that this platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expressions in painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. That's what's important. So again, as our guest this evening, as we come to you and we thank you for joining in, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, because it's all about the door of opportunity.
And that's true. And again, like my brother always says, you know, if you knock, we will answer and we'll bring you in. So you can share your creative expressions, because again, I do believe that what we're doing here is we're trying to develop a community. You know, we always ask, we look at the political landscape, we look at some things that are not going the way that we want them to go, but I do believe that the way we're going to survive this is we come together as a community.
Absolutely.
And so what we're doing on this platform, we're building a community for you out there. So please tune in. We're here every Thursday and Sunday. What I try to do on my Facebook page, I post what the program is going to be for that particular day. So, and I really appreciate those who have visited the page, and so you know what's going on. And so again, I thank you. We thank you for watching what we're doing today. We ask you to tell your friends, tell your family about it, so we can really reach more people. But the final analysis is all about us. It's what we do for each other and what we do for ourselves. So on that note, I'm going to say good night from Ron, from Lawrence, and from the Angels.